Join me today at What's Cooking in Worcester for this healthy, fast and easy sheet pan gnocchi. Now, the great thing about a sheet pan dinner is, first of all, less dishes. We're going to use just a mixing bowl and a regular old baking sheet, and we're going to have all of our ingredients ready at the same time. The other great thing about a sheet pan meal, it's really easy to customize everything to your preferences. So I'm going to show you a lot of different vegetables today, but feel free to mix it up and use what your family likes. Let's get started. We will start with a variety. I'm going to pull out a red onion here. And if you don't like red onion, feel free to use a Vidalia onion or yellow onion, whatever you prefer. I'm going to use a yellow pepper, but you want to cut them into just about 1-inch chunks. Now, if you're not familiar with gnocchi, it is often found in the pasta aisle, but it's different than pasta because you do not have to boil it first. It is made mostly from potatoes, so it has a little bit different, softer texture than pasta. It's a great alternative, and if your family already likes pasta and hasn't tried gnocchi yet, this is a great time to try it. And today's meal is also a vegetarian meal, which makes it pretty cost effective because meats are often the most expensive part of preparing a meal. This is a great way to kind of clean out your refrigerator. So if you're at the end of the week and you're not quite sure what to do with that half of a pepper or, that little squash that's looking a little bit lonely in there, this is a recipe that's perfect because there's really no wrong way to do it. Just like that. We chopped 3 colorful peppers. We have an orange, a red, and a yellow, and a beautiful red onion. And now we're gonna throw in a little zucchini. This is just a small zucchini, and just gonna slice it into rounds. So we're gonna put our zucchini in there. We're gonna use, believe it or not, an entire whole head of garlic, just like this. So what you want to do, normally you're probably used to peeling off the papery outside and then chopping these little bulbs on the inside. Today we're going to roast the whole head and use it to make the dressing. So we're just going to cut through the top. And you see when we do that, that exposes the garlic bulb on the inside. And now we're going to add our gnocchi. This is shelf stable, and as I mentioned, there are directions on the box for how to boil it, but you do not have to. You can use it in a sheet pan recipe, cooking it in the oven as we're doing today. You can also put it in an air fryer if you have something like that. Sometimes you'll find these in the produce department and they're cold, or you might find them in the freezer section. And now we're going to give it a drizzle with some olive oil. We're going to use about 1.5 tablespoons and give this a good toss around. All right, we're just going to add a bit of salt and pepper to taste. Okay, now that the olive oil's on there, and just give it a nice mix so everything is coated. All right, I have lined a sheet pan, also known as a cooking sheet, with a piece of parchment paper. If you don't have parchment paper, you could use aluminum foil. That would be okay too, but you do want to line with something so the pieces don't stick. We're just going to pour this out onto our sheet pan. I will put my bulb of garlic right in the center, cut side down. And once you kind of have everything settled, we're going to go ahead and pop this in the oven, and we'll check back with it shortly. So we've spent about 15 minutes roasting at 450 degrees, which is a high temperature. That's what helps us get this dish ready and on the table so quickly. This is a good time if you want to flip anything over, give it a little stir. We're going to go ahead and add our tomatoes. I did put about 1/2 tablespoon of olive oil on our tomatoes since they weren't mixed in with our original batch here. Give everything a little mix. Pop that right back in the oven. Doesn't that look beautiful? Okay, now we're gonna make our dressing, and we are going to use the garlic that we just roasted. Okay, as you can see, we roasted the whole head of garlic, and now we're gonna use the towel again, just because it's really hot, to kind of squeeze that garlic out into a bowl and mix it up and make it part of our dressing. You see it just sort of slides right out of there. It's mushy, it's warm, it's roasted, it smells amazing. And if it wasn't quite mushed enough, use the back of a spoon or a fork and just, you want it to be sort of like a paste consistency. But now we're gonna add a few other ingredients. So I have the zest of a lemon. I have about a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. And then from that lemon that I zested, I'm gonna go ahead and squeeze the juice of about half of the lemon. And now I'm just gonna give a mix. And I'm just gonna give it a little bit more olive oil, maybe about a tablespoon and a half, just to make sure that it's loose enough to coat everything. Okay. And that is what we're going for as our dressing. So let's bring our serving dish over and get everything plated up to try it. Just gonna go ahead and transfer carefully. And again, I'm just going carefully here so it's not to get any hot ingredients spilling. I've put the dressing in here. And now I'm also gonna add about a cup of shredded Italian style cheese. Now today I'm actually using a dairy-free cheese. And the reason why is because we get some comments and questions sometimes from families who people have dietary restrictions, food allergies and intolerances. And I wanted to show that you can make a recipe like this using some common alternatives to dairy products. This recipe is perfect if you have anyone who might need to stay away from dairy. But if that's not the case for you, feel free to use any Italian style blended cheese. Once it looks a little melty, we're going to add some baby arugula. So I just used a very generous handful, which is maybe a cup or two, maybe about 2 cups. And I'm just gonna mix that in. This is ready to go as is. And how beautiful does this dish look? Look at the bright colors. It's absolutely gorgeous and it's gonna taste great too. Today has been a lot of fun preparing this quick and delicious sheet pan gnocchi with you. I would love to hear what sort of dishes you would like to see made on What's Cooking in Worcester. So drop us a comment below or tag us on social media and let us know what you'd like to see. Remember, eat healthy, be active, prevent diabetes today.